Hi everyone, welcome back. I hope you're all well. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make one of these really cute beaded ghosts for Halloween. So you could turn this into a necklace pendant or an earring or a little key ring. It's completely up to you. To make one of these ghosts you're going to need some size 11 seed beads, and I'm actually using Delica beads, which if you don't know are these little tube shaped beads, so they stack together perfectly because they've got a straight edge, if you can see that. But you can also use round seed beads, it will just have a slightly different look, it won't be quite so close together, like you might have a few little gaps between the beads, but it will work just the same. So you'll need some black for the eyes. If you're doing the little cute little pink cheeks, you'll need some pink, and then whatever colour you want your ghost to be. I've already done a white one, so I'm just going to do a really cute little baby blue ghost for this one. And then you'll need, if you want to do these like larger beads at the bottom, you can use a larger seed bead or any other kind of shape that you've got. It doesn't matter what size. So you'll need 8 of those. So I'm just going to be using these fire polish beads for this one. And then you'll need your beading needle and thread, and for this one I'm going to be using a Nymo thread because it has a very nice what's the word dangle like this. It's not too stiff, so that the strands have a nice hang. So let's get started. Okay, so I threaded my needle and we're going to start by creating the base row. So the base row is the first row of brick stitch. So this is where my tassels start, and this here is the base row. So what I would say before we start is, if you're not familiar with brick stitch and you haven't done it before, then I'd recommend to watch an actual brick stitch tutorial before you do this project, because I'm going to be going through it as best as I can, but I'm not going to go into so much detail about the actual stitch and like the technique of how to do brick stitch. So if you haven't done it before, I do have a brick stitch basics video on my channel if you want to check that out. But yeah, we're going to start with our base row. So first you're going to pick up 2 of your ghost colour and slide those down onto your thread, and you can leave a few inches for your tail. You really don't need to leave much on the end, just enough to tie 1 or 2 knots when you get the project finished. So you have this. Now you're going to pick up a pink followed by one of your ghost colour again. That's if you're doing the little rosy cheeks. If you don't want to do those, then you're just going to pick up your ghost colour instead of the pink. And then you're going to go back into those beads that you're coming out of, but you're coming out of this side. I'm going to go back in the other side. So we have this, and now down through those 2 we just added. Okay, so we've got this. This time we're going to add 2 of our ghost colour in the same way. So you're coming out the bottom here. So you're going to go back into those 2 beads, through both of them in the other direction. Pull that down. And then each time you sew back up through the 2 that you just added, so that you're on the end of the row, and you can add more. So we're going to do that again, another 2 of your ghost colour, add them in the same way and go back down through them. So now you have this, and don't worry if it's looking like this where your beads aren't all sitting neatly, because we'll fix that in a minute. So now you have 4 rows. You're going to do the same thing 4 more times, but reversing it. So you're going to do 2 rows now of plain blue, 1 row of pink and blue, and then the final row is plain blue. So the next row you're going to do 2 of your ghost colour, go back down through those 2 that you're coming out of, and then back into them. Okay, one more row of 2 blue coming out of here, so we're going to go through those 2 on the bottom and then back down through those 2 that we just added. Keep it pulled nice and tight. This time we want a pink and a blue, but you're coming out the bottom, so you need to pick up the blue first and then the pink, so that when you add them they're going to sit like that, like the same. So then go down through those 2 that you're coming out of and back up through those 2 you just added. Okay, and we're going to add the final row now, so it's 2 blue and add those in the same way and go back down through them as always. Okay, so now you've got this, you should be coming out the bottom just like your tail thread is over here. Now what you're going to do is sew back up through the next 2 and each time pull it really tight. Now back down through the next 2, pull it really tight, up through the next 2, and this is where it's going to neaten off. So keep doing that. You can see it's already made these last 4 rows a lot neater. So do that all the way along. So you're going to go down, up, and you should end coming out opposite your tail thread right at the other end. Okay, so now I have this and it's a lot neater than it was before. I'm just going to flip it over so that my thread's on the right hand side, because I like to work right to left when I'm doing brick stitch. So we're going to be doing brick stitch where you pick up 2 beads each time instead of 1. I don't really know what they call it. If anyone knows in the comments, you can let everybody know. And the first 2 you're going to pick up are going to be 2 of your ghost colour. So picking up 2, and just like normal brick stitch, you're going to take your needle under that first bridge of thread. So there's a thread that connects this bead to this bead right here. I don't know if you can see it, and you're going to put your needle under that like that. Pull that down, and if they flip over like this, just pull it back out a little bit until they stack one on top of the other like that, and then go back up through both of those beads and then pull it down, and you should have this. Okay, so this time we're going to be picking up 2 black beads. We're starting on the eyes, and you're going to do the same thing again, but you're going under the next thread bridge that connects the next 2 beads. So go under that one, pull that down and go up through those 2 beads. Okay, again you're going to do 2 black this time, going under that next bridge of threads, pull it down and then sew up through those 2 that you just added. Okay, so now I'm going to speed on a little bit. So the next 2 are going to be 2 of your ghost colour, so add those under the next thread bridge. Every time remember to sew back up through those 2 beads. Okay, now you're going to add your next eye, so 2 black beads, and 2 more black for the next one. And for the final 2 of the row is just going to be 2 of your main colour. So go under that last ridge of thread, sew back up, pull it nice and tight. So now you have this, and now again I'm going to turn it round so my thread's at the right again. Okay, so for this row, doing the same again, you're going to be adding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups of 2. First is going to be 2 of your ghost colour, going under that first thread bridge and adding it in exactly the same way as we did in the row below. This time you're going to pick up 1 of your ghost colour followed by 1 black, and go under that next thread bridge. And then you're going to do 2 of your ghost colour, followed by 2 more. So we have this. So next it's going to be 1 of your ghost colour, followed by 1 black, and going under the next thread. Okay, and the last 2 for this row, so there's 1 more bridge of thread, so the last 2 is going to be 2 of your ghost colour. So we have this, and as always I'm going to turn it over, so I'm working from the right to the left. Now we're going to swap to sort of regular brick stitch where we're just adding a single bead each time instead of the rows of 2. Still using each and every of the thread bridges, and we're only using our ghost colour now. So you're going to do a full row of single beads, so picking up 1, going under that first thread and back up into the bead. Just the same technique, only you're picking up 1 each time instead of 2. So you're going to do that 1, 2, 3, 4 more times. So that you have this. Now I'm going to turn it over and do 1 final row, adding 1, 2, 3, 4 beads. 4 single beads for that last row. So now I have this, and that's the brick stitch part finished. So now while you're at the top, if you wanted to add a jump ring or something, what I'd do is go back so that you're going to add your jump ring between the middle 2 beads. So between these 2 middle beads, so you could add your jump ring or your earring hook, key ring, whatever you're going to attach it to, you can do that now. And then when you've done that, just turn it round like this, so we're upside down. So I'm coming out the bottom of this bead now here. I'm going to go down into the bead in the row below that's on the end. Like that, and then down through the next 2 on the row and the end of the row below. Down through the next 2 on the end of the row below. And same with the end 2 on the bottom row. So you're coming out at the bottom here. So now we're going to add our strands of beads. For my first strand, I'm going to pick up 10 of my ghost colour. Slide those down until they meet the bottom of the ghost like that, and then I'm going to pick up 1 of my larger beads. So if you're not doing one of these, you can just do another seed bead the exact same as these if you want instead. And then I'm going to slide that down too. Now holding it like this, so I've got all the beads lined up here. Not going to go back through that larger bead that we added through the last bead. You're going to ignore the last one, and then you're going to go back down through all 10 of those seed beads like that, and back through the first bead that you're coming out of, or the first 2 because it's a row of 2. So back through those first 2, pull that down. While you're pulling it down, if you want to hold on to that last bead as you pull it, that will stop you from getting any loops or knots in here. Pull it down, you don't want to pull it too tight. So you have this. If you pull it too tight, then it's going to be stiff and your beads are going to sort of bunch up. So make sure you keep your tension nice and relaxed. So you have this. So now you need to reposition your thread, and remember to do this every time before you add your next strand. So you're coming out the top of these 2, you're going to go down through the next 2 on the bottom row. So you're coming out the bottom again, like that. So now for this row, you're going to pick up 12 of your ghost colour, followed by 1 of your larger beads, and slide those down. And then again, do the same thing, but this time skip over the last one and go down through all 12 and back through the 2 that you were coming out of originally. pull that down. So you have this, and now move along down through the next two on the bottom row. Okay, make sure it's not too tight, keep your tension correct, nice and loose so they hang like that. So the next row, you're going to do exactly the same thing, but you're going to pick up 14 of your ghost colour followed by 1 of your big beads and then add it in the same way. So then for the next 2 rows, you're going to add 16 of your ghost colour followed by 1 of your larger beads. So 16 followed by 1 large bead, and that's for the next 2 rows. And then after that, you're going to decrease the same way as we did here. So you're going to do 2 rows of 16, then 14, 12, 10. So you're following the same pattern but going back up the line. So you're going to do 2 rows of 16, then 14, 12, 10, adding your big bead on the end of each of those rows. Okay, so once you've done that, you should have this. And just before you tie your knots, make sure that you lay it down, give the strands a little roll on the mat. Make sure they're hanging the way you want them to and the tension's not too tight. Then you can go ahead and tie knots with your working thread, your tail thread, and then we're finished. So that's our finished ghosts. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I really like the noise this one makes. Don't know if you can hear that. But that's what they turned out like, really cute. They'd make really fun Halloween earrings, I think. So I hope you enjoyed this video and you're able to make one of these. Let me know if you did and share a picture with me. Follow me on Instagram at Beadingbyhannah, and you can also take part in some polls that I do over there to decide what video to film next, so make sure you check that out. And like this video if you enjoyed, and subscribe to see more of my videos, and comment down below anything else you want to see for Halloween or Christmas coming up quite soon. So let me know. Thanks for watching everyone. See you next time. Bye.